So I very recently got completely stood up by this woman. First date, met her online, and I'm talking no text, no show, left hanging at the restaurant, stood up. Now, before you bail out on this video, this is not some kind of woe is me or all women suck scenario. I just actually wanted to take advantage of this situation to talk about why it's so very important for men to develop and practice resiliency to thrive in life. Before I do that, I just want to ask that if you get something out of what you hear here, to please go ahead and like and subscribe down below. It might help other men who need to hear this message find the video. So, what do I mean by resiliency? Well, let me give you the dictionary definition. It's the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. Let me say that again because it's good stuff. The capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties. Sounds simple, right? But I think it's often easier said than done. Not everybody comes by resiliency naturally. In fact, for some of us, it looks an awful lot like hard work. At least that's been the case for me. But I do think it's a valuable skill for men to develop, mainly because at the end of the day, nobody gives that much of a shit about your difficulties. So when you take a loss, you have to be able to assess that damage, dust yourself up, and get back in the game because frankly, there's nobody coming to pick you up. And the sooner men accept this harsh but basic truth, the better off they're going to be, including when it comes to women. So I've been single for a solid decade now as an older man since my divorce at 50. And here's what I've found, that if I want female companionship, if I want to be out dating, then I have to go out and make that happen. And if I'm not willing to go do that work, I don't date. It's just that simple. And what that means is I'm going to have to take losses before I get to enjoy some wins. And those losses could be plain old rejection, ghosting, flaking, and in rare circumstances, but in this circumstance, getting stood up. So let's run through some resiliency tips. First, I think it's really important to develop an abundance mindset in order to be resilient. Let's face it, a guy walking around in a scarcity mentality, he's not springing back quickly from anything, frankly, but certainly not from a woman he put time, effort, and energy into him, leaving him hanging at a restaurant. He's simply got too much invested in the outcome when he doesn't have other optionality. But when you're in an abundance mindset, a woman standing you up is actually giving you really good information in a timely fashion, mainly that you shouldn't waste another second on her, and instead you should take your time, energy, and effort and put it towards something or someone that's going to give you some return on that investment. That's actually exactly what I did. Took some time, energy, and effort and ended up with another date, same restaurant, same time, the following weekend, and she actually showed up. I actually made a video about developing an abundance mindset, and I'm gonna pin it in the top comment below if you want to go check it out. Second thing is what I call be the man with the plan. For this particular date where I got stood up, I had given this woman the time, the date, and the place, which happened to be a nice breakfast joint just a couple blocks from my own house. So when it became apparent that she wasn't going to show, I just went ahead and ordered breakfast, enjoyed a good meal, overtipped my waitress, and strolled home through my own neighborhood. I got to tell you, my friends, you don't want to drive an hour to get stood up because walking 5 minutes beats the shit out of stewing on it while you drive back home for an hour. The other benefit to this kind of strategic location for dates is that if things are going well and she wants to extend the date, your house is just a hop, skipping, and jumping away. So always try and control the environment and make sure that that first date is taking place someplace that's convenient for you and where you can go ahead and enjoy yourself if she happens to not show up. And finally, you just really have to develop a sense of perspective for these kind of things. In this particular case, we'd met online. I didn't know her. She didn't know me. She just had a really attractive profile. And we texted a few times and made a date. For all I know, I was one of 20 or 30 dudes she was talking to, and she just happened to winnow me out of her lineup. So really, it would be, the decent thing to do would be to give a guy a heads up, but there's nothing you can do about this. So all you can really do is practice some radical acceptance, deal with your feels as quick as you can, and get back on the horse. So there you have it, resiliency as a man. And if you have your own resiliency story, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Good luck to you guys.